the time to bring back together the dipper arm and the boom arm. So what I should be doing is mounting that in position, sticking the wire tag onto the top of the arm ready for connection, mounting the dipper ram into position and putting the center joint together there, and then get the cable run sorted out. So I've got as far as putting the two pieces together. So I've got this top mount screwed in through from underneath. I've also got the dipper ram in situ as well, and that's screwed down from underneath. And it's this point here that we're going to have to start making a few changes, mainly on the cable route. So this actually started off where the cables ran right across that mount, and you can see that if we use the same mountings as well, that's going to be completely in the way. So the plan is now to notch out a piece here. This is all part of the original structure where the original motor drove the dipper arm, and this piece here is where the existing or the original boom arm motor assembly would operate the boom arm, so it actually do all its lifting from that point. But for now I'm just using it as a spacer so that when the two halves come together, it won't collapse. It will hold these two at exactly the right distance. But I should probably incorporate some sort of cable route around. So I'm figuring on picking up that post as a post to run the cable routes through. So I'll re-divert that so it's all on the top side, and encourage the cables to go around the top of the mount, so that it can pick up this. And I'm not sure yet at the moment whether to bring the cabling out top side or bottom side. Okay, now we're ready to put the top cover on the boom arm, so just putting that bearing on the top. So what I've done here is I've made a couple of cable routers. So there's one there, and I've actually taped it down with some industrial duct tape to keep that away from that pivoting thing. I didn't want to get hanged up in that thing there, so I taped it down there with another cable router, and then I've put some heat shrink tubing around this pivot point. So I'm going to stick the top on, stick it all together, and then offer it up to the main body, the frame, and get that all working, and we'll see how this pivots around. Okay, so we got the cover installed on the boom arm, so this is all complete in one piece. So the next thing to do now will be to introduce the main body side of things, which is over here, complete with the famous limit switches. So I shall start attaching that back into the main frame, and then assemble the boom ram motor, get that all lubed up, ready, and then we'll see how it how it balances at that stage. Give me some idea of what sort of size and weight counterbalance to use so that it will sit there and not want to tip down. Once I've established a weight, then we can test the motors. Alright, so I've assembled the boom ram. The bottom mount is done, so the pivot, and that's a case of connecting the plug on the inside. It'll only go in one way, so it goes in like that, and then the wiring fits into the slot. Which way up is he going? Like so. Then that slides in across there. Let's get the motor sticking out the right way first. There we go, bring him out up that way. Sit that in there. Slot that in. Okay, so there's a little bit of work to do with this cable here to make sure it doesn't go up over the top of the switch down there. I may stick something down there to keep that out of the way. And looking down underneath, we've got our wiring going up inside, and it's a good movement on the pivot, so that's looking good. So we can double check that once the arm's installed. So I've got to insert 4 of these Allen screws, or hex head screws, M2s, into the front, and then that will secure this bracket to the bracket behind it and pinch it all up tight and make a good fixing. Okay, so it's all back together. So I've got the boom arm fixed in, the wiring connected down through. We've got the boom motor mounted along with the ram. So the ram is attached in the top. In the boom arm we've got the dipper arm back together, or the dipper ram, so the hinge is all back together, and then the bucket is all done as well. I've just powered it up just to make sure the limit switches are all working, and everything seems to be good. So I've just put some counterweights on the back, and it's running about 750 grams I think to counterweight the arms. So I'm going to be looking for some lead or something to pack out to use as a counterweight. So the next move then will be to sort the wiring out. So the next stop is to make some sort of a bracket to accept all these wires, and get the wiring up from the track frame. So I could actually put the track frame together, mount it on the track frame and do that, and then I can start to get the motors, the motor drivers together, to figure out a way of mounting the motor drivers, which I can't find. I've never put my hand to anything. So they're little square circuit boards. So that's the next stage of the game. So we're working our way towards the back and down underneath. So there we are. sorted.